Hello and welcome back to the Flying Cow Podcast, the official podcast of the Village of Wellington. I'm your host, Jim Barnes, Wellington's Village Manager. Thanks for joining us for episode 12. Today we're shining a spotlight on a group of professionals who keep our communities functioning every single day, often without much recognition. From maintaining roads, to repairing storm drainage, to setting up and breaking down community events, public works teams are truly the backbone of our village. This episode is in honor of National Public Works Week, recognized each year by the American Public Works Association. This year's theme is Rooted in Service, Powered by Community, which really captures the essential role public works professionals play behind the scenes every day. Today, we're talking about the people who make sure streets are safe, infrastructure works, events happen smoothly, and communities continue moving forward, even when most residents never see the work happening. Joining me today is Public Works veteran Marco Roselli. Thanks so much for being here, Marco.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here to talk about the incredible things public works professionals do every day. Been here for 16 years. Started out as building maintenance, became the operation manager for public works, and enjoy it every day.
That's great. For people, and believe me, we are fortunate to have you, having come from the private sector with the experience you have, bringing that to the public sector here in Wellington. We're extremely fortunate, and that's generally similar with a lot of our team members in public works that have a combination of both public and private sector experience. For people who may not really fully understand what public works actually includes, can you explain what public works departments do?
Absolutely. Public work covers a huge range of services that people rely on every day, often without even realizing it. When roads are repaired after storms, that's public works. Traffic signs, storm drains, sidewalks, parks maintenance, sanitation services, emergency response support, all of those fall under public works operations. A lot of work happens behind the scenes, which is why public works professionals are often called the unsung heroes of local government. If everything is working correctly, people usually don't know or think about it. But if something stops working, whether it's a water main break or a road closure or storm cleanup, then everyone notices. Public works teams really respond for maintaining the infrastructure that keeps the community safe, connected, and functioning.
Well, that's certainly something that I think a lot of us take for granted. Like you said, when everything's working, nobody even thinks about it, but the minute something goes south, everybody starts wondering who's in charge of maintaining all this stuff and making sure that everything's working. So, why is National Public Works Week so important? And beyond just being recognized, why is it important for our residents to be aware of this whole concept, Public Works and National Public Works Week?
We want to help the communities better understand the critical role public works professionals play every day. What's important is that public works just isn't about roads and construction. It's about service. Public works employees are often the first people responding after storms, hurricanes, flooding, and emergencies. They're the people clearing debris, restoring access, making roads passable, and helping communities recover. This week gives communities a chance to recognize those efforts and say thank you to the people whose work is absolutely essential, but often overlooked.
No, you hit the nail right on the head there. It's a lot of cases, while we underestimate how much really public works folks do, I think the easiest way to put it is public works teams, they're the first to arrive and the last to leave. Regardless of whatever emergency we have, oftentimes the public works teams are the ones that clear the way for the emergency responders to get there, and they're the ones who go ahead and clean up as everybody else has already left. You mentioned that a lot of the work happens behind the scenes. Can you give me some examples of what things that the public may not really realize public works teams that we have here in Wellington under your supervision are handling?
There's a lot people probably never think about. For example, many residents see a festival, a parade, or even a community event, and they just think magically it comes together. But public works crews are often deeply involved before, during, and after those events. They're setting up barricades, placing signage, coordinating traffic patterns, preparing public spaces, delivering equipment, managing sanitation stations, and making sure everything is safe and accessible. And then after the event, most people go home. Public works crews are still there breaking things down, cleaning streets, removing waste, restoring normal traffic flow, and getting everything back to normal. The same thing happens with infrastructure maintenance. People drive over roads, bridges every day without thinking about inspections, repairs, drainage system, underground utilities, or preventive maintenance that the crews handle constantly. A lot of public works success is invisible because the goal is preventing problems before they happen.
Again, you're kind of pretty much nailing it with the statements that you're making as far as we don't really realize of really what goes on behind the scenes, and that's really the main crux of what we're talking about here today. Is a lot of the activities, a lot of the work and tasks that public works teams handle all happen behind the scenes. Can you tell me more about the role public works teams play in those community events you mentioned just a little bit ago?
Definitely. Public works teams are often essential to successful community events, whether it's a holiday parade, a concert, a festival, or even a city celebration. There's usually a public works team helping make it happen safely and efficiently. That can include street closures, traffic control, stage or equipment transport, power and utility coordination, waste management, crowd safety preparation, emergency access planning, signage, barricades, and after all done, clean up afterwards. What's impressive is the crew often work very long hours around the events. Setup may begin early in the morning or days in advance, and breakdown can continue late into the night. Most attendees never see the planning or labor involved, but these events wouldn't happen without public works support. Also important to us is making sure there's enough shade, water, waste bins around to keep the area safe and clean.
So those are the fun things: community events, parades, all fun events and activities that kind of bring the community together. But there's another side of the public works task list, of the public works equation, that public works professionals also really step up during emergencies, severe weather events. And for example, especially here in Florida, we know that's important during storm season, which, by the way, we're just getting into. So can you talk to me a little bit about that?
Absolutely. During emergencies, public works teams become critical responders. After hurricanes, storms, flooding, tornadoes, or other disasters, public works employees are often among the first crews out on the field. They're cleaning the roads, removing debris, restoring access for emergency vehicles, checking infrastructure for damage, repairing traffic systems, and helping communities recover. In many ways, public works acts as the support team that allows emergency responders, hospitals, schools, and residents to continue functioning. The work is physically demanding. Crews are often long shifts and difficult weather conditions because communities depend on them. That's another reason National Public Works Week is so important. It's to recognize the commitment and dedication of the professionals bring every day, especially during difficult situations.
Well, and again, you mentioned the fact that, whether it's a fun community event where you might have a crew that works early in the morning until late at night, or possibly into the next morning. Those are at least around fun events. But then you also have to do the same thing when you're responding to an emergency. Trying to make sure that the community stays safe even after an emergency, whether it's a storm, tornado, what have you. For the crews that you lead, and your team of public works is one of the largest work groups within the village. What do you think motivates those folks that work within the public works team?
I think the most public works professionals genuinely care about serving their communities. There's a real sense of pride in knowing your work directly impacts people's daily lives. Public works employees know their work matters. And many of these professionals live in the same communities they serve. They're helping their neighbors, their families, and local businesses. The theme this year, Rooted in Service, Powered by Community, really reflects the idea. Public Works is deeply connected to the community, services, and improving quality of life.
And that quality of life is something that's really important, because that is something that our residents here in Wellington really hold near and dear. And that's one of the reasons that they chose to move here, and one of the reasons many continue to stay here. What are some of the biggest challenges, in the quest to kind of maintain that quality of life here in the village, what are some of the biggest challenges that public works departments, including the villages, face today?
There are several. Infrastructure across the country is aging, which means that there's constant demand for repairs, upgrade, maintenance. And at the same time, communities are growing, which increase pressures on road, drainage systems, and public facilities. Weather events are also becoming a challenge in many areas, so crews are responding to more severe storms and emergency situations. Another challenge is visibility. Because much of work happens behind the scenes, people may not fully understand how much planning, expertise, or labor goes into maintaining public infrastructure. But despite those challenges, public works teams continue showing up every day, finding solutions for their communities.
So now kind of getting back to the whole, concept of National Public Works Week and trying to recognize your teams, these great teams that we have working here, and not even only in Wellington, but really around the county and around the state and the country. How can communities like ours show their appreciation for the public works professionals, not just during National Public Works Week, but also year-round? Because really the service you all provide benefits everybody here in the community year-round.
Honestly, even simple recognition goes a long way. People can take time to learn more about their local public works department, attend community events during National Public Works Week, or simply thank crews when they see them working in the community. Many cities also have open houses, equipment demonstrations, educational activities, social media campaigns during the week to help residents better understand what public works does. The biggest thing is awareness. Recognizing that the services don't happen automatically. There are dedicated professionals behind them every day.
So we've covered a lot of ground here today talking about National Public Works Week. We've talked about, what a typical public works department, even specifically Wellington's public works department, handles on a day-to-day basis, whether it's emergency response, whether it's day-to-day infrastructure maintenance. Before we wrap up, if you had to pick one, what's one message you'd like our listeners to take away about public works professionals and, specifically your team in general?
I like to say this: public works impacts your life every single day, whether you realize it or not. The roads you drive on, the events you attend, the storm cleanup, after emergencies, none of that happened without the dedication of public work professionals. These teams work long, hard hours to keep communities safe, connected, and functioning. Just appreciate the people who help make this everyday life possible.
Well said. Public works professionals truly are the unsung heroes in our communities. And as we celebrate National Public Works Week, it's important to recognize these individuals, all of them. A huge thank you to all public works employees for the work you do every day. Many times, oftentimes behind the scenes, but always making a difference, regardless of whether it's community events, storm recovery, or storm preparation and traditional infrastructure maintenance. Again, thank you to all the public works employees for the work you do every day. Thank you to Marco Roselli for joining us and helping us shine a light on the important role public works plays in our communities. As always, be sure to subscribe and turn on alerts so you never miss an episode of our podcast. Until next time, I'm Jim Barnes. Thank you for tuning in to the Flying Cow Podcast, where community takes flight.